A new follower.
Everybody, it's your boy Young Hebrew. Welcome back to another live stream. Much gratitude for joining me today. Hebrews Cast, whatever. We're here to talk about the Q4 earnings call, Take Two Interactive. Yeah, I appreciate everybody that's here today. Much gratitude for joining us, joining the hobby room. Thank you. Much gratitude. I pray everybody as well. May peace and blessings be upon you. Let's go ahead and close this poll out real quick. Let's just do that. I see we're not too optimistic about today's earnings call, right? Rightfully so. Rightfully so. Let's see here. All right. Now we have 6 minutes until it begins, and I'm glad if you tuned in to listen to it as a community, because you can always listen to it on your own if you know how to do so. So we appreciate you joining and listening as a community. Let me see here. All right, let's close that out. So about 150 votes, and you guys are saying it ain't gonna happen, buddy. We're not gonna see an update for Reddit Online or info about Reddit Online. Now, if you remember in February, that earnings call, Actually, we did hear about Reddit Online. It's just not what we wanted to hear. So I wanted to follow this up and see where Reddit Online is in its current state. Out the word, or out the horse's mouth itself, you know what I mean? Other than seeing it for my own eyes and where the current state of Reddit Online is. So that's why I'm here treading along and trying to keep it together. Full transparency, not as hype as I was before, but nonetheless, I want to see where Red Dead is at. We got some people saying that if they don't say anything about Red Dead Online today, that Reddit Online is dead. And the whole narrative, it already is in a bad spot. It's been in a bad spot. Until it gets an update, I'm going to say that it's dead, and it's officially been dead. So that's just where I'm at with it. Personally, but shout out to everybody that's here. We got It's Young, we got the Mobinator. YOUNGHEBREW, how you been, bro? All is well. Thank you for tuning in, man. Much gratitude. We got Alex, Dr. Fufu. Thank you for tuning in. Much gratitude. Martin Bradley, Static. We got Bear Nips. Up, YOUNGHEBREW. Hope you're doing well, my dude. You as well. Much gratitude. Thank you so much. Plant Toast. Daniel Jones, what's going on, man? Mama's in the building. Shout out to Mama. What's going on? Kevin, shout out. Goat, shout out. Summer's finest. Can't wait to see them trying to dodge Reddit Online once again. Shake my head. Fell hype. What's going on? Is it Jeese? What's going on? Ellie, what's going on? Vander, Michael, Kevin, Outlaw Chuck is in the building. Much gratitude. Thank you for tuning in. Gamer Dragon, Ton, Rick Grimes. You guys are also much gratitude for tuning in today. We do appreciate it. Brian, what's going on? Well, I don't care of Reddit Online. I'm only hoping a little teaser or even a pixel of GTA 6. Is that how you laugh? Okay. I wouldn't anticipate anything for GTA 6. You never know, you never know, of course, but I wouldn't expect to hear anything about GTA 6. I mean, we just got the expanded, the enhanced. Don't they need some sort of... Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for all the new followers as well. If you're new here, welcome to the Hebrews cast. Thank you, Sleeping. Yeah, they're going by too fast. Thank you guys for subscribing and being new to the channel. But we just had the expanded, the enhanced, the E&E. We just had the optimization for current gen hardware. You think they're going to talk about GTA 6? I don't think so. Not yet, right? Too soon. Way too soon to talk about GTA 6. And I kind of want to see Reddit Online get its love. You know what I mean? Baby, let's have something to miss before we jump into another GTA. Dr. Fufu, I must go, but I'll be sure to check in and see how this possibly dissatisfying how it's possibly dissatisfying call is gonna go. Well, appreciate you, Dr. Fufu, for tapping in. They're gonna announce GTA 4, what, remaster? How about a Red Dead Redemption 1 remake? The question is, will they lie about Reddit Online again? Well, I have no anticipation for GTA 6 due to the lack of content for Reddit Online. Yeah. Well, we got 2 minutes here, folks, and the reality will kick in. And what about Red Dead Redemption 3? This franchise deserves a prequel at least. God, I even feel it's too soon for Red Dead Redemption 3. I feel it. There's a lot that comes with that. Let's get signed in here, guys. We're about to get it kicked off. So Phil, cut the music. Oh, you're doing good today. Click here for the broadcast. Boom. Oh, they still got the elevator music, so we're gonna mute that. Thank you guys so much for subscribing and supporting the channel. We do appreciate it. Much gratitude. Great peace and blessings be upon you. Caleb says, shout out to Phil. Don't let it go to your head. All right. All right, they're still playing the elevator music, so just give me a second here, or we'll give them a second here to get their act right. Guys, we're just gonna chill. We're gonna have a calm stream. We're not gonna get irate. We're not gonna blow up. None of that jazz. We're here to have fun. Okay. No, we're not. I don't know what that meant. Dismiss that. All right. Last time got demonetized for playing the elevator music. So I guess Take-Two doesn't even want you to play their waiting music. If Rockstar announces GTA 6, I will like and subscribe you from 6 accounts. Please don't. But only if you like the content in its entirety, because we're not, you know. GTA, y'all, I wouldn't anticipate anything
at this time. All participants
in regard to GTA 6. Here we go, folks.
A question and answer session will follow the formal presentation. If anyone should require operator assistance during the conference, please press *0 on your telephone keypad. As a reminder, this conference is being recorded. I would now like to turn the conference over to your host, Nicole Shevins, Senior Vice President of Investor Relations and Corporate Communications. You may begin.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining our conference call to discuss our results for the fourth quarter and fiscal year 2022, ended March 31st, 2022. Today's call will be led by Strauss Zelnick, Take-Two's Chairman and Chief Executive Officer.
I got you,
Carl
Static.
Sladoff, our President, and Lainey Goldstein, our Chief Financial Officer. We will be available to answer your questions during the Q&A session following our prepared remarks. You guys know how this goes in the
beginning.
Before we begin, I'd like to remind everyone that statements made during this call that are not historical facts are considered forward-looking statements under federal securities laws. These forward-looking statements are based on the beliefs of our management, as well as assumptions made by and information currently available to us. We have no obligation to update these forward-looking statements. Actual operating results may vary significantly from these forward-looking statements based on a variety of factors. These important factors are described in our filings with the SEC, including the company's most recent annual report on Form 10-K and quarterly report on Form 10-Q, including the risks summarized in the section entitled Risk Factors. In its entirety,
but it takes about 20-30 minutes to get to
unless otherwise stated,
the meat and potatoes.
All numbers we will be discussing today are GAAP, and all comparisons are year over year. Additional details regarding our actual results and outlook are contained in our press release, including the items that our management uses internally to adjust our GAAP financial results in order to evaluate our operating performance. Our press release also contains a reconciliation of any non-GAAP financial measure to the most comparable GAAP measure. In addition, we have posted to our website a slide deck that visually presents our results and financial outlook. Our press release and filings with the SEC may be obtained from our website at take2games.com. And now I'll turn the call over to Strauss.
Thanks, Nicole. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today.
You're hot. You're
our strong fourth quarter results concluded another highly successful year for our company. We delivered net bookings of $3.4 billion, which reflect our creative team's unwavering commitment to quality and the ability to deliver captivating and engaging entertainment experiences that transcend geographies and generations.
Thank you, Gaming Guy.
On behalf of our management team, I'd like to thank all of our colleagues around the world for helping us to achieve these results, especially as we continue to navigate through the new normal following the pandemic.
A new follower.
During the year, we positioned our organization strategically for long-term growth. To that end, we bolstered our creative teams by adding nearly 1,000 new developers, including through the acquisition of several talented studios, which will help us expand our capabilities and support our growing pipeline of offerings. We broadened our portfolio further with the introduction of new intellectual properties and business models to drive player engagement. We agreed upon our pending combination with Zynga, which will grow our audience significantly and increase exponentially our net bookings for mobile, the fastest growing segment in interactive entertainment, while also providing us with substantial cost synergies and revenue opportunities.
In February?
As we build our scale, we believe that we can grow our margins meaningfully. Lastly, we advanced our ESG efforts, and I'm pleased that we recently published our first dedicated report, which includes information on our initiatives to date, as well as our roadmap for the future. During the quarter, our newly released WWE 2K22 and Tiny Tina's Wonderlands outperformed our expectations, as did Red Dead Redemption 2. NBA 2K22 continued to grow its audience, with the title selling in over 10 million units to date and exceeding sell-in from the prior year. During the fourth quarter, engagement remained very strong, with average active days of playing up 6% and average games per user up 13% year over year.
And so it begins.
In addition, NBA 2K22 Arcade Edition continues to hold the #1 position on Apple Arcade's top game chart, and for the full year, downloads of NBA 2K Mobile increased nearly 25% as compared with fiscal 2021. We see a significant opportunity to add unique and innovative experiences throughout the game and focus on expanding our player base.
Yeah, the QA beta has been
on March 11th, 2K and Visual Concepts returned triumphantly to the squared circle with the eagerly anticipated release of WWE 2K22,
so
which achieved the highest Metacritic scores on both Xbox and PlayStation platforms in franchise history. Setting new benchmarks for quality,
according to what he's saying
the
as
title
well,
offers more features and enhancements than any prior release in the series, including a redesigned gameplay engine, new controls, foundational improvements, upgraded visuals, and an array of options requested by our passionate player base. Notably, WWE 2K22's sell-in for its first 4 weeks exceeded the levels achieved for both WWE 2K19 and WWE 2K20, even with a revised release window that was not during the holiday season. Consumer engagement with the title has been outstanding, with over 140 million in-game matches played to date and over 5.6 million hours of WWE 2K22 content viewed on Twitch. I'd like to thank 2K and the WWE team of Visual Concepts for their commitment to reestablishing this incredible franchise. We greatly appreciate WWE's immense support in launching this year's game and look forward to continuing and building upon our successful partnership in the years to come. On March 25th, 2K and Gearbox Software released Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, an all-new, fantasy-fueled offering that has taken our partnership with Gearbox to new creative heights and is viewed as the best new franchise launch from 2K in several years. The title has resonated with core fans and new audiences alike, with nearly 30% of players having never before played a Borderlands title. To date, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands has exceeded our expectations.
Tiny Tina's Wonderland,
being supported with cross-play functionality, an array of post-launch content, and a season pass.
Should have been part of the game.
I'd like to congratulate 2K and Gearbox on delivering another stellar game, and we look forward to the possibilities for this new franchise in the years to come. During the fourth quarter, Rockstar Games expanded the reach of their iconic entertainment experience, Grand Theft Auto V, with the release of new versions of the game upgraded specifically for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S. This marked the third console generation for which the game has been made available since its initial launch in 2013, and to date, the title has sold in more than 165 million units.
Let's give it up for them.
Also, for the first time ever, Grand Theft Auto Online was made available as a standalone title for the latest generation consoles. Featuring an array of graphical and technical enhancements, a new career builder, new vehicles, and more, these versions were well received by the game's vast community of players. In the period, Grand Theft Auto Online maintained its massive audience size from the prior year, while growing 8%.
Definitely looks better. I said that in my review. Definitely looks better. There's no content alongside it to keep you
and 2019, respectively. In addition, Rockstar Games launched GTA Plus, an all-new membership program exclusive to Grand Theft Auto Online players on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S consoles, whereby participants can receive a range of valuable player-friendly benefits, including a monthly deposit of GTA dollars and other bonuses designed to help players experience everything Grand Theft Auto Online has to offer.
Next level paywall.
Including access to major content packs like last holiday's The Contract. Initial conversion has been above our expectations, which we believe bodes well for this to be an ongoing engagement driver.
Give numbers. GTA Plus is not meeting your expectations. Who's buying that trash? Red Dead Redemption 2 continued to expand its audience and to date has sold in more than 44 million units worldwide. Here we are.
Results for the series were notably above our expectations for the period, which is further proof of the ongoing popularity of Rockstar's blockbuster entertainment experiences. Turning to Private Division, the label's recently acquired studio, Roll7, successfully launched Ollie Ollie World in February, which received significant critical praise for its unique art style and impressive gameplay mechanics. We'll support the title with its first expansion, Void Riders, in the first half of this fiscal year.
We're just going to graze over Red Dead Redemption.
Championing the best independent talent in our industry, Private Division recently signed 4 new publishing agreements with leading independent developers,
Folks, I don't know,
Fabrique, Evening Star, Piccolo Studio, and Yellow Brick Games. We look forward to working.
It's very depressing how much they care about, how much they just care about the money.
During the fourth quarter, recurrent consumer spending declined 6% over last year.
Creatively bankrupt.
Over the past few months, the consumer has seen a wide array of long-awaited, high-quality new releases in the market,
dear God,
including several of our own exciting titles that have not deployed significant live service offerings. We believe that this dynamic has impacted our overall recurrent consumer spending. NBA 2K and Grand Theft Auto Online were the largest contributors to our current consumer spending during the fourth quarter, and many of our free-to-play offerings were notable drivers
the fourth quarter,
as well.
2K, GTA, but
Top
last
11
quarter,
continued
in February,
to perform very well following our acquisition and was our #1 mobile
quarter
title
3
during the fourth quarter.
was Red Dead. Still got no
Two
content.
Dots delivered notable year-over-year growth and posted its best-ever net bookings performance, driven by new in-game events
So now it's almost
and
more
successful
irrelevant.
marketing activations. Dragon City and Monster Legends delivered a solid finish to the year, supported by enhanced live operations. WWE Supercard has now been downloaded more than 26 million times and remains 2K's highest-grossing mobile game. And NBA 2K Online in China outperformed our expectations. The title remains the #1 online PC sports game in the region, with nearly 57 million registered users.
Red Dead is doing so good. Why is it not? Where's the update?
We're incredibly excited about our future path of growth, including our pending combination with Zynga.
Here we go. Let's talk about the future.
We believe that this will be a transformative moment for Take-Two as we continue to build upon our core tenets to become the most innovative, the most creative, and the most efficient entertainment company in the world. Combined, we'll create a powerhouse of industry-leading titles that span key platforms and genres across interactive entertainment, developed by some of the most creative and forward-thinking talent within the industry. Later this week, our respective shareholders will vote on the transaction, which, assuming such approvals are obtained, we anticipate will close on May 23rd, 2022.
You guys anticipate GTA 6?
On a standalone basis for fiscal 2023, we expect to achieve a new record of $3.75 billion to $3.85 billion in net bookings as we plan to deliver many new exciting releases during the year.
Okay, well, what new
Looking
releases?
ahead and excluding the impact of our combination with Zynga, we expect fiscal 2024
Here we go.
and fiscal 2025 to set even higher records of net bookings for our company, alongside a significant ramp-up in profitability. Lainey will provide additional details on our outlook shortly, while Carl will share an update on our exciting, diverse multi-year pipeline, including approximately 69 titles that we plan to release through fiscal 2025.
So let's still talk about 69 titles. Okay.
In closing, we're highly optimistic about our future. As we continue to expand our enterprise and execute on our growth strategies, we believe that Take-Two remains incredibly well-positioned to increase its scale and prominence within the industry, expand margins, and deliver long-term value for our shareholders. I'll now turn the call over to Carl.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you for that 20.
By thanking our teams around the world for
Thank you for
another
that, Camel.
outstanding year for our company.
Check the new IGN article.
Strong results
CEO
were
mentioned
driven by our
save it online.
colleagues' passion, creativity, and commitment to deliver value for
Much
all of our
gratitude for that. Thank you.
And now to start our recent first quarter releases. On April 21st, 2K and Gearbox Software released Coiled Captors, the first of 4 exciting downloadable content packs in the Tiny Tina's Wonderland Season Pass. Featuring a new environment, boss encounter, and legendary loot, the
which nobody
likes.
Nobody liked the Tiny Tina DLC.
From this exciting new franchise.
We got to pull up receipts, folks.
On April 26th, 2K and Visual Concepts launched the Bonsai Pack, featuring 5 playable superstars, plus My Faction Evo cards for each. This is the first of 5 downloadable planned content offerings for WWE 2K22, all of which will be available individually and as part of the game's season pass throughout the year.
They're really not, Miles.
Looking ahead, fiscal 2023 will be another exciting year for Take-Two, as we deliver captivating new entertainment experiences for our players, while also growing our business through our pending combination with Zynga. I'll now provide details on Take-Two's fiscal 2023 pipeline on a standalone basis,
here's a pipeline.
Which includes 18 planned releases.
18 planned releases for Take-Two.
We expect to deliver 6 immersive core offerings,
6 immersive
all of which will
core.
be available for purchase. These include The Quarry, which is an all-new horror narrative game from 2K and Supermassive Games, where every choice, big or small, shapes your story and determines who lives to tell the tale.
A new follower.
Featuring an iconic ensemble cast of Hollywood stars, including David Arquette, Ariel Winter, Justice Smith, Brenda Song, Lance Henriksen, Lynn Shay, and more. The Quarry will launch on June 10th for PlayStation and Xbox consoles and Windows PC via Steam. Marvel's Midnight Suns is planned for release during the second half of calendar 2022 and is one of this year's most anticipated games. The title is being developed by Firaxis Games, the acclaimed studio that brought audiences such iconic franchises as Sid Meier's Civilization and XCOM, and features the Marvel Universe's most revered heroes in an entirely new gameplay experience. 2K will have more to share in the coming months. Kerbal Space Program 2, which is coming from Private Division and Intercept Games, is now expected to launch on PC in early calendar 2023 and on consoles later in calendar 2023.
Okay.
Anticipation for the title is high, with more than 12 million views of the announcement trailer. The dedicated Kerbal community can look forward to more information about the game and its new features from the title's ongoing gameplay reveal video series. Turning to our annual sports offerings, fans can expect all new releases from our popular sports series, including NBA 2K23, WWE 2K23, and PGA Tour 2K23, which will debut legendary golf icon Tiger Woods as the game's executive director.
2023, is that what I just heard?
2K will have more to share about these.
No, okay, I thought I misheard that.
Continuing with our fiscal 2023 pipeline, we plan to release 8 mobile titles, including 4 from new franchises and 4 from existing franchises, and 3 mid-core arcade titles for purchase, which include 1 new sports title from 2K, a new franchise from Private Division, and a new Tales from the Borderlands game, which will feature new characters and stories set in the Borderlands universe. And lastly, we'll have 1 new iteration of a previous release title available for purchase. Our labels will continue to provide new content and experiences that drive engagement and recurrent consumer spending across many of their hit franchises, including NBA 2K, Grand Theft Auto Online, Red Dead Redemption Online, WWE 2K, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, OlliOlli World, and more.
They're going to support Reddit Online? What?
Excluding our pending combination with Zynga.
Where?
We expect to deliver 51 titles throughout
So they're not done with Reddit Online. Like I said, they're going to update it when no one cares about it anymore.
Which we believe will pave the way for us to achieve a strong acceleration in net bookings and growth and profitability. This includes 18 immersive core releases, 7 of which are sports simulation games. 16 of these will be available for purchase, while 2 will be free to play. 10 independent titles, which will all be available for purchase. 12 free-to-play mobile games.
That's confirmed.
4 mid-core games for purchase, 2 of which will be sports-oriented.
Of course, 2K.
And 7 new iterations of previously released titles, which will all be available for purchase.
7 iterations,
Bears noting that these titles are snapshots of our current development pipeline. It is likely that some of these titles will not be developed.
Red Dead Redemption 1, Max Payne.
That launch timing may change.
GTA 4,
we'll also
maybe.
be adding new titles to our slate.
It was new though.
In addition to our full game releases, we will continue to offer post-launch content from many of our releases, ranging from virtual currency sales to DLC packs and season passes.
Virtual currency, season passes.
Turning to esports,
season passes.
The NBA 2K League kicked off its 5th season on March 23rd and included new sponsors such as Google and Coinbase. This year, the league has partnered with the city of Indianapolis to bring all tournaments as well as playoffs and finals to its new home at the Pavilion at Pan Am. The league's overall prize pool has increased to $2.5 million this season, the largest since its inception. We remain very excited about the continued success and growth of the NBA 2K League, which has a long-term potential to enhance engagement and to be a driver of profits for our company. In closing, as we execute on our organic growth initiatives and unlock new opportunities presented by our pending transaction with Zynga, we believe that we can broaden our portfolio and capitalize further on new platforms, business models, emerging markets, and distribution channels. As we deliver on these growth opportunities, we believe that Take-Two is exceedingly well positioned to deliver long-term value for our shareholders. I'll now turn the call over to Lena.
2K's the same game every year,
Carl.
Maybe a little bit better graphics,
everyone.
right?
Today I'll discuss our fourth quarter and fiscal 2022
We got to wait for them to ask the questions, right?
And then review our financial outlook for the full year and first quarter of fiscal 2023.
What's coming up?
Please note that our initial outlook does not include Zynga in our projected results or the interest expense on the notes that Take-Two issued in April to fund the cash portion for our pending acquisition of Zynga. Additional details regarding our actual results and outlook are contained in our press release. I'm extremely pleased with the accomplishments that Take-Two delivered during the fourth quarter and fiscal year. We posted strong financial results, took exciting steps to position the company for long-term growth, and announced our transformational pending combination with Zynga, which brings massive potential to our portfolio and financial profile. I'd like to thank our teams for their passion, commitment, and for continuing to help Take-Two deliver its strategic vision. Starting with our fourth quarter,
Total net bookings grew 8% to $846 million.
Let's get to the meat and bones questions.
WWE 2K22 and Tiny Tina's Wonderlands outperformed our expectations, as did Red Dead Redemption 2. During the period, digitally delivered net bookings
Red Dead Redemption 2 is second,
and accounted for 91% of
behind
the total.
Tiny Tina. Is that what I'm hearing?
This exceeded our outlook of a slight increase due to the outperformance
as far as exceeding sales expectations, metrics-wise, again. And Tiny Tina just came out.
75% of console game sales were delivered digitally,
Red Dead second,
slightly from last year. As Jeff mentioned, over the last few months, there's been a wide array of long-awaited, high-quality new releases in the market, including several of our own exciting titles that have not deployed significant live service offerings. Accordingly, our recurrent consumer spending declined 6% and accounted for 60% of total net bookings. GAAP net revenue grew 11% to $930 million, while cost of goods sold increased 43% to $399 million, driven by amortization of software development costs for our fourth quarter release. Operating expenses increased by 32% to $403 million, driven by the addition of Nordeus, including its earnout, as well as higher marketing and transaction costs. And GAAP net income was $111 million, or 95 cents per share, compared to $219 million, or $1.88 per share in the fourth quarter of fiscal 2021. Turning to our fiscal 2022 results, total net bookings were $3.41 billion as compared to $3.55 billion in the prior year.
Okay.
As we expected, throughout the year, our engagement trends were notably higher than they were pre-pandemic. However, as the world began settling into a new normal, there was a moderation of the trends that benefited our industry during the height of the pandemic. As a result, digitally delivered net bookings declined 2%, slightly outperforming our guidance of a 3% decline, and accounted for 91% of the total. 68% of our console game sales were delivered digitally, up from 64% last year. And recurrent consumer spending declined 6%.
We'll see if they ask about your
Non-GAAP adjusted unrestricted operating cash flow was $425 million, as compared to our outlook of over $400 million. During fiscal 2022, we spent $159 million on capital expenditures. At fiscal year end, our cash and short-term investments balance was approximately $2.6 billion. GAAP net revenue grew 4% to $3.5 billion, while cost of goods sold was flat at $1.5 billion. Operating expenses increased 24% to $1.5 billion, driven primarily by the additions of Playdots and Nordeus, including the revaluation of its earnout, higher personnel, stock compensation, marketing and IT expenses, and higher transaction costs. And GAAP net income was $418 million, or $3.58 per share, as compared to $589 million, or $5.09 per share in the prior year.
Okay.
Today, we provided our initial fiscal 2023 outlook for Take-Two on a standalone basis.
Okay.
We project net bookings to range from $3.75 to $3.85 billion, which is a new record level for the company and implies strong growth of 11% at the midpoint. We have an exciting pipeline of releases that we expect to bring to market during the year,
such as
including 6 immersive core titles, which is twice as many as we delivered in fiscal 2022.
6 games coming this year. Sorry, 2023.
The largest contributors to net bookings are expected to be NBA 2K, Grand Theft Auto Online and Grand Theft Auto 5, Red Dead Redemption 2 and Red Dead Online, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, Marvel's Midnight Suns, and PGA Tour 2K23. We expect the net bookings breakdown from our label to be roughly 60% 2K, 30% Rockstar Games, and 10% Private Division and T2 mobile games. And we forecast our geographic net booking split to be about 60% United States and 40% international. And we expect recurrent consumer spending to be flat compared to fiscal 2022 and represent 58% of net bookings, which is down from 64% last year due to a greater number of new releases. We project digitally delivered net bookings to grow 10% and represent 91% of net bookings, which is in line with last year. Our forecast assumes that 71% of console game sales will be delivered digitally, up from 68% last year. We expect to generate more than $350 million in non-GAAP adjusted unrestricted operating cash flow, and we plan to deploy approximately $120 million for capital expenditures. We expect GAAP net revenue to range from $3.67 to $3.77 billion, and cost of goods sold to range from $1.66
to $1.7 billion.
Our total operating expenses are expected to range from $1.74 to $1.76 billion. At the midpoint, this represents a 17% increase over the prior year.
Hold on.
As Carl mentioned, we have approximately 69 titles that we plan to deliver over the next 3 years.
Right,
We will be investing behind our pipeline in key areas such as marketing, personnel, and IT. And we expect GAAP net income to range from $223 to $252 million, or $1.90 to $2.15 per share.
Nothing on GTA 6
For management reporting purposes, we expect our tax rate to be 16% throughout fiscal 2023. Now moving on to our guidance for the fiscal first quarter. We project net bookings to range from $700 to $750 million as compared to $711 million in the first quarter last year.
Which makes sense.
The largest contributors to net bookings are expected to be NBA 2K22, Grand Theft Auto Online, and Grand Theft Auto 5, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Red Dead Online, The Quarry, and WWE 2K22. We expect digitally delivered net bookings
they're talking, but where's
2%. Our forecast assumes that 78% of console game sales will be delivered digitally, up from 73% in the same period last year. We project recurrent consumer spending to decline by 10%, as we believe that the momentum behind our own exciting titles that have not deployed live service offerings will continue into the first quarter.
Much gratitude.
We expect GAAP net revenue to range from $810 to $860 million, and cost of goods sold to range from $307 to $333 million. Operating expenses are expected to range from $387 to $397 million. At the midpoint, this represents a 25% increase over last year, driven primarily by higher personnel and marketing expenses, as well as transaction costs. And GAAP net income is expected to range from $93 to $105 million, or 80 to 90 cents per share. In closing, we have great confidence in our ability to drive accelerated growth into fiscal 2023 and beyond.
I'll talk no action is all I'm hearing and seeing.
Will take our business to an even greater level 100%. Of scale and profitability. As we execute on our strategic initiatives, we believe that we can deliver sustainable, profitable growth for our shareholders. Thank you. I'll now turn the call back to Strauss.
All right, let's get to the questions.
Thanks, Amy and Carl. On behalf of our entire management team, I'd like to thank our colleagues for delivering another outstanding year. And to our shareholders, I'd like to express our appreciation for your continued support. We'll now take your questions.
You got the expanded enhance out the way?
Thank you. At this time, we'll be conducting a question and answer
Q&A.
session. If you'd like to ask a question, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad.
Get me in, Phil.
A confirmation tone will indicate your line is in the question queue. You may press star 2 if you'd like to remove your question from the queue. For participants using speaker equipment, it may be necessary to pick up your handset before pressing the star keys. One moment, please, while we poll for questions.
Okay. Calling.
Our first question comes from Andrew
and they hung up.
with Jefferies. Please
I didn't get it that time. I'll try next time. Here, keep trying.
Great, thank you. Just 2 quick ones. The first one on RCS, it looks like you're guiding that flat, and it was down in fiscal 22. Is that more a product of quantity?
Coming in hot.
Or is there something you're seeing in the underlying engagement stats that give you comfort that lapping some tough COVID comps here in the first half are doable?
COVID comps.
Yes, so the first year is definitely due to the comp against the year with COVID from last year. So we had a really strong Q1, and so comping against that quarter was very difficult. And then this quarter, we were seeing a lot of people playing the full games that we put out, as well as some of our competitors. So that also affected RCS in the quarter.
Got it. And then in the guide, then just trying to understand why the guide was flat, and for the it just seems like it's still fairly tough. So is it comfort coming back of more RCS for 23, or
not interested,
or something else?
Imagine someone asking
Q1, we're expecting to be down by about 10%, and that's the ongoing of what we're seeing in Q4, which is the players playing the full games of our games and some of our competitors. So that's we're continuing. We've seen that in Q1, and we expect to see that for the full year. We expect to see it flat for the full year. So some of our new games that are coming out don't have any recurrent consumer spending associated with it. We expect NBA to be up for the year, and then GTA Online and Red Dead Online we expect to be down for the year.
Got it. Thank you so much. And then Strauss, you did a wonderful podcast earlier in the month, I think, with LionTree. In it, you discussed M&A and the importance of listening to offers. Just out of curiosity, with the changing valuations we've seen across the landscape,
shout out Brazil,
the market that we're in, what are your broader thoughts on M&A activity here at the current levels and volatility in the market?
Yeah, orange. That's not a good sign. Orange and blue.
Well, no one likes to see their stock price experience a drawdown. But we ultimately will always trade on our fundamentals, and that's how we look at the company. So we have a really strong company. We continue to perform and outperform expectations, as we have in this quarter and in this past fiscal year. We've just issued initial guidance, which is a very positive look at our company and at the market. So we remain in a very optimistic place, and I think similarly situated companies probably feel the same way. When the overall market re-rates,
in the red dead line,
there's nothing that we can do about it, nor something that we would wish to do about it. We don't need to access the capital markets at this price level. We're under-leveraged, no matter how you look at it. We have a small amount of investment-grade debt coming with the closing of the Zynga transaction, and then we have a really powerful company that we expect to continue to fire on all cylinders. So momentary changes in the market are kind of irrelevant to us.
Got it. Thank you guys so much.
Going long term. I get it. Okay. All right, Strauss. Yeah. Next question.
Our next question comes from the line of Eric Handler with MKM Partners. Please proceed with your question.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the question. Two questions.
Right,
Kippo. If you could start off, do you think there's any type of shift going on in preferences among gamers for more story mode type of play versus, let's call it,
online,
the live services type of play, and people are just sort of craving that story mode a bit more lately?
I know I am. Hey, keep my single players coming.
It's Carl. Actually, I think that we never, as an industry, went away from the attractiveness of the story mode content.
Yes,
we've always said that we believe in that kind of content. We've always delivered on that as a company. It's the ultimate entertainment experience, and I think what you're seeing is you're just seeing some other games in the market capitalize on that. I think there are a number of them out there right now, so maybe look that way. But when you look at it over time, story-driven content has always been a significant portion of the activity and also the economy behind the industry, and we expect that to be the case going forward.
Great, thanks.
Single-player games aren't going anywhere, allegedly.
Comparing your guidance to what was in the S4 from a few months back, I'm curious if there was, when you look at the sort of puts,
someone asked about GTA. It will.
It looks like the bookings guide is a little lower than your internal budget. The EPS guide is a little better than internal budgets. Anything you can talk about maybe what's changed on the margin since then?
Talking about in the sense of Take-Two.
The projections that we gave in the S4 were, not exactly our guidance because these numbers reflected our internal estimates
talking about in terms
as of a point in time, which was back in December 2021.
GTA 5 online and not
so there's
making
always
GTA
some
6
fluidity in our release slate, our marketing plan,
given
the
that story
overall
DLC,
operating expense
GTA 5 as promised.
And those, can change our projections over time.
Yeah, they'll keep releasing single player,
sure. Our net bookings guidance was affected by the Russia-Ukraine situation, so those numbers are not included in our projections and in our guidance right now. So that really affected it. So there's always shifts in our impact on our software development costs and marketing expenses, which also affected the bottom line. So those are some of the differences between guidance and the S4.
Thanks, Lane.
Our next question comes from Matthew Thornton with Truist Securities.
Come on, Matthew Thornton. Well, I'm not too confident in your last name. Let's go. Oh, his last name's Thornton, guys. I don't know about this guy.
Already hit on a little bit, but Laney, I'm wondering if you can maybe quantify some of the discrete items that have kind of been going on the last 3 months. And what I'm getting at there is Russia, as you alluded to, as well as currency. How can we think about that headwind, maybe versus where we were 3 months ago? And then maybe more broadly, I don't know if this is for Strauss or Carl.
What's going on, Tech? Thank you for joining the hobby room.
Where you think we are in the quote unquote reopening? Are we at a normal run rate? And similarly, just player behavior. Obviously, there's a lot going on again on the macro front. I'm kind of curious your thoughts.
Player behavior. Hashtag save right of the line. Okay.
And the player behavior more more broadly? Any color there would be very helpful. Thanks, guys.
Hey, Thornton, follow YoungHebrew93 _ Follow me on
For the first one,
Twitter.
Russia and Ukraine is not a
You'll see the general
big
consensus.
material number for us, but it is something that did change between the S4 and our guidance. Probably a bigger difference in the top line was more
in February. I'm used to them not asking good questions, but there's some that slide in.
In terms of the currency, it wasn't a huge change for us between those few months. We have a pretty big natural hedge, so there really isn't a big change between then and now for us. When we set our guidance, we set it based on the spot rate at the time. So any major changes from the time that we set our forecast, that couldn't be a difference going forward. But as of right now, it's based on that spot rate.
And in terms of the post-COVID outlook, it does feel like we basically are in a normalized situation right now. Actually things have worked out basically as we thought they would. We expected that our audiences would stay with us, and they have. And we also expected that we would see some level of pullback in terms of, engagement amongst that audience, which we've seen some of that.
And what games?
You can see that reflected across the entire industry. But at this point, I would characterize it as we sort of normalized, we're stabilized, and I think we're back on the growth
for very different reasons, man. Come on.
Anticipating a year ago when we
you're losing your audience for a very different reason. Come on.
This way.
They're losing their audience for a very different reason. The player count in the lobbies are lower in Reddit Online, not because of COVID.
Our next question comes from Mario Lou with Barclays. Please proceed with your question.
Well, Mary, Mrs. Lou.
Thanks for taking the question. I have two on GTA.
I thought that was.
So for
Hold on.
GTA Plus, you mentioned the conversion rate came in
GTA
above your
Plus.
expectations.
Imagine asking about GTA Plus instead of GTA 6.
Subscription kind of being offered to the current gen players as well in the future. And then secondly,
GTA Plus for Xbox
you mentioned that
One and
the
PS4.
whole year guide for GTA recurrent consumer spending is going to be down this year. So how should we think about the cadence of updates, this year for GTA Online and going forward in terms of current gen versus next gen? Thanks.
They're saying GTA Online, yeah, because GTA Online sales are
sales
going to be down.
Of any news about broadening the subscription offering. We're thrilled about how it's been rolled out so far. We're thrilled with the conversion rate, and it's clear that consumers really like the opportunity to engage with Rockstar with GTA Online, and they value what we're offering through a subscription. And with regard to ongoing content updates, Rockstar has said there's more content coming, and we're excited about that.
Where content come for GTA Online? And Rockstar said there's more content coming, and cut me off. Phil, can we?
Our next question comes from Colin Sebastian with Baird. Please proceed with your question.
Things are always hard to listen to. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, thanks. Good afternoon, everybody. Maybe just to follow up on the normalization of usage and engagement, monetization trends. I guess we're looking at mounting
no conviction in his voice.
Recession, maybe even stagflation. I think historically the industry's performed pretty well in economic slowdowns, downturns, but curious, Strauss, I guess how you're thinking about the macro environment. Are there scenarios where we could see an impact to the growth and investment strategy on the horizon? And related to that, on the mobile side, there are concerns that the softening we saw in the March quarter might continue through the year. So curious if that impacts at all your plans for Zynga integration and the synergies. Thanks.
Thanks for your question.
Look, you hate to hear it, don't you?
People would like to claim that entertainment is countercyclical or immune to cyclicality. That is not the case. The entertainment business will be affected by an overall economic slowdown. However, we can be seen as resistant to such a slowdown. So, for example, if you go back to 08 and 09, the market actually grew in 2008 by 20%. It did decline in 09, but the 12% drop was less pronounced than many other business segments. And after September 11th, the U.S. gaming market actually grew by 42% in 01 and 11% in 02. So in the event of a consumer recession, and
they ask weird questions.
I'm not going to opine on that because I'm not sure my opinion is very valuable. In such an event, I think we will be resistant, but
I just want transparency,
but we can withstand any such slowdown without a problem. And look, if you put out great entertainment, people will come out for it, and they'll come out in good times and in bad. Sometimes they'll come out more in bad times. By the way, I don't think there's any evidence that we're going to have stagflation. Stagflation referred to a time, when there was both high unemployment and high inflation. And by high inflation, mortgage rates were over 16%. We're not in that ballpark. We're not close to that ballpark. And we have very low unemployment rates in this country right now. So stagflation doesn't seem to me to be a meaningful risk. Some kind of moderate recession, I suppose, is conceptually a risk, but it wouldn't have an impact on this business that we can perceive at the time. In terms of mobile games, T2 mobile games did just fine. They're performing incredibly well and continue to perform well in the fourth quarter. So, if that's any guide about how we're going to do, we feel just great about the pending combination with Zynga, and we think there's wonderful opportunities there. And we think that some of the challenges, for example, the post-IDFA world, actually create opportunities for a company that has the kind of consumer database that we collectively have with Zynga and the data analytics that we have to help us navigate that database.
Our next question comes from the line of Omar Dessouky with Bank of America.
Omar
Please
Dessouky.
proceed with your question.
B of A. Let's talk about it.
Hi, thanks very much. There's been some debate in the market as to the size of the total addressable market for Grand Theft Auto 6, which was discussed in a blog post by Rockstar, because it will launch into the Gen 9 console cycle, whereas the Grand Theft Auto 5 launched slightly before PlayStation 4 and Xbox One were launched.
Right.
So will such a graphically intensive game be as performant on Xbox One and PlayStation 4?
Oh, they're worried about a cyberpunk situation.
As it will be on Xbox X and PlayStation 5. And does streaming technology have the potential to make older generation console and mobile devices capable of a satisfactory performance for such a state-of-the-art game?
Who wants to know GTA 6 is going to run good on Xbox One and PS4?
Well, in reverse order, there aren't very many streaming platforms that are up and running right now. Stadia is still up and running. It's they don't have that many titles.
Talk about Red Dead, talk about GTA 6, damn it.
Small audience. We've been very supportive of Stadia, but it's a tiny portion of our business, to be clear.
Where's GTA 6
and
question?
Of course, there's Xbox. But these are not meaningful markets right now.
Okay.
I'm not sure I understood the question. If you're asking, will the launch of the next update in the Grand Theft Auto series,
it's going to be a cyberpunk crisis. Come on,
Strauss, on a blog post, as you pointed out, have a salutary effect on the launch of upcoming platforms? Was that your question?
No,
about?
It's really the question of whether the installed base. We should think about the installed base as the Xbox One, PlayStation 4 plus Xbox X, PlayStation 5, or only Xbox X, PlayStation 5, in which case the TAM would be smaller.
He's saying it's only going to be on
Rockstar hasn't talked about
current gen console
any details at all about the next iteration of Grand Theft Auto. So there'll be more information to come. But I have no doubt that when that moment comes, and there is another iteration, that we'll be releasing to a very robust market.
Okay, could I just ask you also a quick follow-up? In terms of your capitalized development expenses, do those typically accelerate, as you head closer towards the launch of a big game like Grand Theft Auto 6, or are they relatively flat over time?
It depends on what games are being worked on and how big the teams are that are working on the games. So over time, the balance on the balance sheet will go up and down based on what titles are releasing and how the games are being developed. But it doesn't go in line with any one specific game. There's a lot of games being worked on. As Carl mentioned, there's a large amount of titles that are in the pipeline, and most of those are capitalized other than our mobile titles.
This guy really asked GTA 6 is going to run on Nintendo Switch.
Our next question comes from Benjamin Soft with Deutsche Bank. Please proceed.
I can't make this up.
Hey guys, thanks for the question. So just now that the FIFA license is officially kind of up for grabs, I wanted to gauge
FIFA. Okay, not interested.
Building out a soccer franchise.
So he was saying, is it going to be on cross-gen? Is it going to be on Nintendo Switch? Is GTA 6 going to be cross-platform, cross-gen? Obviously, it'll be cross-platform, PlayStation, Xbox. Because of its
we noticed
fidelity, right? Because of how
and
strenuous it's going to be on the hardware. Is it going to be? Are we going to have a cyberpunk crisis?
We're excited about building out our sports business.
I'll say, imagine GTA 6 running on the
we don't have
Switch,
much else to say at the moment.
Game Boy Advance, PS4 Pro, Xbox One X. Like, no, it's going to be current gen only.
Next question comes from Brian.
Otherwise, no innovation. Your GTA 5. What are you talking about?
With your question?
GTA 5 is already on current gen only.
Tiny Tina's
Assault
on Dragon Keep. It was featured in the PS5, PlayStation Plus, and it included a pre-order from Wonderland. So, just wondering if that Dragon's Keep engagement, corresponded with pre-ordering, eventually, drove conversions. If that was a unique dynamic, if that was helpful to how that particular marketing program works. And then, Strauss, you highlighted cross-play functionality with Tiny Tina. Is there anything notable to call out with respect to what you're seeing in the cross-platform play there, either versus other prior games or other cohorts of players? Because you mentioned a nice influx of those who had not previously played Borderlands games.
I'll take the second part of the question first in terms of the crossplay. Look, the crossplay component of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is terrific, and we're really excited about that. We think crossplay generally is great for the consumer. To have people being able to play against each other, with each other across console and PC, that's an ideal situation, and we do think that ability has helped with Tiny Tina. I don't have any specific data to share of how many of the new people was because of crossplay. That part I don't have to share, but I can tell you it's a good component, and it is very well executed by Gearbox. And I just could ask you I didn't really quite understand the first part of the question about Assault on Dragons. What was the specific question there?
So there was, if I recall correctly, there was it was highlighted. Assault on Dragon was highlighted in PS5 and the PlayStation Plus, and it included a Wonderlands pre-order screen. So I'm just wondering if that engagement with Dragon Keep, kind of built momentum.
Both PS4s would turn into a microwave if they ran GTA 6.
Or even engaging with that and then eventually buying Wonderland.
Be a jet that never took off, right?
Yeah,
PS4 Pro.
I would, again, I don't have specific numbers to share with you, but that was a significant marketing beat for us. Anytime that we can re-engage a consumer base into a franchise, particularly to launch a new franchise, it's going to have a very positive effect. And obviously, we were blessed to have Tiny Tina because that's one of the most beloved characters.
Yeah, they need to get Red Dead Redemption 2 and Red Dead Online, since they're different entities. Got to set them separate now.
The release of Wonderland,
on the current gen hardware, optimized.
Obviously, had a positive impact on us.
I don't hear that. That should already happen before GTA 5.
Our next question comes from Matthew Cost with Morgan Stanley. Please proceed with your
Morgan
question.
Stanley.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for taking the questions. I guess just on the hiring front, you mentioned in the prepared remarks that you added, 1,000 developers to the developer base this year.
No GTA 6 confirmation.
What are you seeing in the way of competition?
All right, Michael, much gratitude.
And
Thank
wage
you.
Inflation?
Rest easy.
And if you are seeing any amount of wage inflation, is that impacting your outlook for hiring for the rest of the year?
Rockstar joke.
And then on the M&A front, obviously
accountability is everything.
In the process of closing the Zynga deal, but
again, I understand it's an investor's call, but there's
after many years,
there's questions being asked.
Running the business, that
we can relate to and understand.
Like there are opportunities out there to go after.
But the answers are just
So I guess are you on the hunt post Zynga, or more focused on kind of the integration effort in the near term? Thanks.
So you're looking to acquire more
for
Zynga?
In terms of the wage inflation, I think like many other companies, we are feeling the impacts of wage inflation, and particularly since the labor market is pretty tight right now. That being said, we really do believe that we're very well positioned to attract and retain talent. We offer highly competitive compensation packages, benefit packages, many of which include profit sharing and equity. So when the company succeeds, our employees succeed, and that is very well appreciated. And there's also the element of our culture where people come here because they like to work here, and they can, and particularly on the creative side, where they have the freedom to pursue their passions in a way that also enables them to enrich themselves at the same time. So yes, I would say everybody in the entire market is feeling some impact of the tight labor market, but I think generally speaking, we're pretty well positioned because we consider that a competitive strength of ours.
And on the M&A side, our story has mostly been an organic growth story for a very long period of time. We've selectively acquired companies that have great intellectual property and great teams.
Yeah, we don't do nothing with
them,
man.
And then, of course, we
take advantage of your player base.
Social Point, Playdots, and Nordeus in order to enter the mobile business.
I'm so lazy.
And most excitingly, we expect to close our combination with Zynga next week. But over the 15-year history that this management team has been here at Take-Two, the bulk of our growth, the bulk of our success has been organically driven. And I think that'll continue going forward. And we have great opportunity because combined with Zynga, we have the best collection of owned intellectual property for PC and console and mobile in the business. And I think the most talented creative people, the most talented executives. Of course, I'm speaking from our perspective, but I believe that, and I think we have to deliver on that promise, and we will do so organically.
Deliver on their promise, and they will do so organically. You didn't happen with Red Dead. We're going to pull the receipts after this. I hope
will be a short-term re-rating of interactive entertainment stocks. Ultimately, all securities will trade on their fundamentals, and the fundamentals in this business are quite strong, and I think will continue to be strong.
Where's the fundamental
That said, we have the ability in a highly disciplined way to do more inorganic growth transactions. And if they make sense to us, we will pursue them. But it's probably not the first order.
It makes financial sense. Yeah, not morally, though. I know I'm taking it to Red Dead, but still.
Our next question comes on the line of Matthew Thornton with Truist Securities. Please proceed with your question.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. A couple quick follow-ups. Just coming back to the capital allocation question there, Strauss. I think a couple quarters back, might have been the fiscal third quarter, you actually bought back some stock for the first time in several years. I think you guys have typically done that pretty opportunistically. So my first question here is, given the pullback in the shares after you kind of closed the Zynga deal, would buybacks or opportunistic buybacks be something you'd entertain, or are you trying to perhaps bring leverage down faster? Just kind of any thoughts there. And then just secondly and relatedly, post-close of Zynga, would you wait till the following quarter to issue
No, Take-Two did not acknowledge.
You might entertain intra-quarter.
Save Reddit Online.
For us to think about that would be helpful. Thanks again, everyone.
Oh, you're welcome, sir.
We've said that we believe in returning capital to the shareholders when it makes sense economically, and we've done buybacks on an opportunistic basis. Generally speaking, when we perceived there to be a deep value opportunity in the marketplace, we perceived such deep value at $158 a share. Sitting here today, we were wrong about that. But it's still this management team's view that represents deep value of this company for what that's worth. We are heading into a transaction. We have put leverage on the company for the first time ever. And so I think, again, buybacks won't be our first order of business, but we do retain the flexibility to pursue buybacks if we decide to do so.
Take-Two will never acknowledge hashtag Save Reddit Online. Gamer Dragon, you got your
Our next question is on the line of Mike. I'm sorry, were you still?
Sorry, we still have Laney to answer the second part of the question.
My apologies.
Oh, no problem. So for the guidance with Zynga, we plan to provide consolidated guidance when we report our Q1 results in early August.
How much time left for this conference? Not too long. 2 minutes.
Our next question comes on the line of Mike Hickey with the Benchmark Company. Please proceed with your question.
Hey, thank you. Hey, Strauss, Carl, Laney, Nicole. Nice quarters, guys. Congratulations, and thanks for taking my questions. Two questions. The first, I'm not sure how much you can speak to this, but sort of
morally bankrupt. All this, imagine having all this money,
as it relates to mobile,
but be morally bankrupt.
I think there's much of a
creatively bankrupt.
What Zynga has provided to
don't mean nothing.
Historically. And then more, I guess, higher view, when you look at the mobile market through the first quarter here, how are you reflecting on growth of mobile, and is it meeting expectations? Follow-up.
It's funny because they're interested in stuff like mobile, which it definitely has a fan base, but like
in terms of our core fan base is on console. In terms of mobile, we haven't closed the transaction yet, so we'll start to work with Zynga closely and get a chance to get under the numbers with them and make sure we have a consistent approach towards how we plan all of our business. So that's that's the plan right now.
They brought it up a few times, but no, they didn't. They diverted.
And Strauss, did you have a view just on mobile market growth, if it's still tracking where you thought it would be, or if first quarter in?
We'll recap briefly because they did say something about Red Dead Redemption
we don't
Online.
track, growth statistics quarter to quarter. Long term, we believe that there's a wonderful opportunity in interactive entertainment generally, and that mobile will continue to be a rapidly growing segment of the marketplace.
All they care about is money. You know, they care less about the players.
Our next question comes on the line of Doug Creutz with Cowen and Company. Please proceed with your question.
Hey, thanks. One of Zynga's key executives recently left to go take a CEO role at another company. Just wondered if you could give any update on your plans for how the mobile business is going to be run, assuming the transaction closes. Thank you.
Starting new, you know.
It's a little early to have that conversation because the transaction is not closed yet. Zynga's been operating successfully as an independent company for approximately 15 years, and they have highly experienced key personnel across all areas of their business.
No one cares.
Under Frank Gibeau's leadership, Zynga has a deep bench of talent, including many executives who aren't exactly public-facing in their roles, but they are running the business on a day-to-day basis. So we're highly confident that there are plenty of talented executives at what will become the Zynga division of Take-Two, assuming everything goes according to plan. And we're very excited about the future together, and we'll have much more to say about.
I hear your frustration. There's nothing at all in this live. Just nonsense. Only GTA 4 mobile.
Our next question comes on the line of Martin Yang with Oppenheimer. Please proceed with your question.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for taking my question. This is more of a longer-term question for Strauss. Can you maybe share with us, how would you characterize the impact of great individual creators, their impact on the commercial outcome of the games, and has that really changed since you started working in the industry?
Thank you guys for tuning in on behalf of the community. Listen to it as a community.
I think we have we've put more focus on creative talent here at Take-Two than perhaps any other company in the interactive entertainment business.
Nah, that's changing, bro. You don't have the most creative. No.
It's an easy thing to say. It's a hard thing to do.
That's all to swallow that lie, isn't it?
Encourage the most creative people in the industry to come to our company and work on what they're passionate about. And we make decisions that are in service of that approach, that strategy, and our goal to make great art as well as to make great hits. The work is done by teams. All the work here is done by teams. But the leadership is crucial, and we have great creative leadership across the board. And we're really, really proud of that great creative leadership and grateful to them for the results that they continue to deliver here.
Our next question comes from Andrew Marok with Raymond James. Please proceed with your question.
Hi, thanks for taking my questions. You mentioned that you saw some success in the standalone GTA Online version. I guess, who are the players that are getting into GTA Online at this point? How do they differ from the legacy GTA Online players?
Children. I got the answer.
Around that as well.
I got the answer.
And then secondly, is there any updates you guys have to share maybe on your NFL partnership? Thank you.
Yeah, I think on the GTA players, I think what's most interesting is that the market continues to grow. That we've sold in 165 million units of the title, even though
you didn't ask that. Well, it's the demographic.
The title has dominated now 3 console generations, and that when we created a standalone version of Grand Theft Auto Online, lots of people showed up to play it. So clearly, the market is huge and continues to grow. And I think Rockstar's done a great job in continuing to make the market accessible for people over a long period of time. But no, we don't have anything specifically to say about the particular people who've shown up, even though we have a lot of good data.
We have nothing specific to say, even though we have really good data that can calculate that.
Right now to say about the NFL partnership, although we're excited about it and looking forward to the releases that will come in the future.
Imagine being this bad of a liar. Imagine being this out of touch with what's even going on. You had so far shoved up your own ass, agreed that you can't even articulate a damn answer, a proper answer.
Good afternoon. Just a point of clarification there. I know it was late in the quarter, but the standalone price for GTA Online, is that, I'm assuming that's getting booked at RCS, or maybe there's some nuance there, just to confirm that.
What it is?
Then just
price.
I'm curious if you could maybe put some thoughts around just the strategy around that. I think Strauss, you've called the combination of the full game and online of Tether and free to play, just how successful that's been in the past, obviously. But any thoughts around, should we assume that is kind of the MO, I guess, for future titles of this size or ilk?
Sorry, I apologize. If you can,
I don't understand a damn word either.
About pricing?
Yeah, throw it out the window.
Oh, just curious if the standalone
next Reddit Online.
Is that getting booked as recurrent consumer?
So he wants to know the GTA Online price. Standalone.
Game, is the first question. And the second question.
So the standalone game itself is the full game, but if you're playing it online and buying virtual currency, that's RCS.
And your second question? I'm sorry, I missed the second one as well.
It's not the full game. What?
Sure. No.
You download the full game, but
thoughts on considering the relative success of tying GTA Online to GTA 5. If we should expect that that's the kind of modus operandi.
It definitely had the little pre-recorded
stature for your biggest IP going forward.
We have said that we expect to offer opportunities to engage with our titles on an ongoing basis after release. We aim to provide such opportunities and to monetize them when it makes sense. But there are all different ways to do that. That could be downloadable add-on content, or that could be an online multiplayer game. It really depends on the title, and as the labels get ready to market and release titles, that will generally be made clear. So it varies title by title. There's not going to be just one singular approach going forward.
Our next question comes from Drew Crum with Stifel. Please proceed with your question.
Okay, thanks. Hey, guys. Good afternoon. So I know there's some commentary in the preamble about ramping up profitability in fiscal 24 and 25. Is that solely a function of scale, or do you also anticipate slowing down the investment spend? And where will we see fluctuation in investment spending going forward? Thanks.
It's a combination of scale and also the investments other than direct marketing. We would expect those to slow down. The direct marketing will be in line with what titles come out, but the other expenses like headcount and IT expenses and rent, we would expect that to slow down.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Next.
We want to thank you all for your questions today, for your attention, for joining us, and for your support.
Yeah. Kiss my foot in my butt. Not interested. I mean, I wasn't as hyped going into this one. I wasn't anticipating or expecting anything crazy, mind-blowing, anything new. I wanted to see the status of Reddit Online. Other than what I see with my own two eyes when I go and play it, I want to see what they were going to say about Reddit Online. And as you saw, they say, again, second next to Tiny Tina, above Reddit Online, or above GTA Online, when it comes to the metrics and the sales expectations. It exceeded once again. How? With zero content? I don't know, but right. And then 2023 down the pipeline, the future for Reddit Online is going to get content alongside GTA Online, 2K games, and Tiny Tina. They're going to support that, I guess, other than the $10 DLC they dropped that was just cut content that people are very disappointed by. Anyway, so that being said, shut up, Phil. I got it. No, I'm fine. Put the prompter away. So what I'm saying is 2023, we're going to see it. And like I said before, Reddit Online is going to get content when we stop caring about it, unfortunately. Right? The content had to come before with the Blood Money DLC and before the E&E rollout for the GTA 5. So that didn't happen. They failed. They dropped that ball. They didn't care. They wouldn't invest in it because GTA 5 Online was making so much money that this is where we're at now. So I understand that, but I wanted to cover this. I wanted to hear from my own 2 ears. I wanted the community to come together, be able to listen, and thank you guys for joining. We do appreciate it. Much gratitude. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to wrap that up. The questions we never get like I try to call in, we try to get me to call in, it never works. The questions that need to be asked aren't dared asked, and when they are, they divert. Some questions, so the last in February and here in May, so there were some good questions that were asked, but the diversion, you hear it and you see it in his voice, and it's crazy, but I understand it's an investor's call. I wasn't expecting to hear anything about GTA 6, but we did. You don't expect what you don't expect, I guess. But I do appreciate you guys, So let's see this poll here. You guys said we have like 500 votes. You guys said will Red Dead Online receive a summer update this year? Out of 442, 33% said of course. And then 30% said, ain't gonna happen, buddy. You know. We'll end the poll there. Yeah, they're very heavily focused on, like, hyper focus, you know. I know, you know, what that's like because I have ADHD, ADD, but on this mobile, you know, and acquisition of that or acquiring that and distributing resources into this mobile, again, where the money's at, like they keep reiterating. So, I get the investors want to know where the money's going, the return on investment. I get it, but the core gamers, they're on the Xbox, they're on the PlayStation. I'm not understanding. Cut the music. I'm just not understanding. I get it. I understand they're going where the money is. I understand this position of it's just a business. I never concur. The creativity comes first, and then the money will follow, right? Because this is an art, so the creativity comes first, and them being creatively bankrupt. Rockstar got to hold them accountable. This is a Take-Two Interactive earnings call, but this is we're talking about Rockstar Games. You got to hold them accountable as far as the content. Take-Two isn't in charge of the content. Well, it depends how much Rockstar allows them to take control of the reins. When it comes to Red Dead Online, pun intended. Rick, Red Dead Online is like Sloth from the Goonies. Oh, locked in the basement and forgotten about. Give it a little attention, and it has a heart of gold. Yeah, I like that. We appreciate you. GTA 6 trailer today? Nah, Joe Biden has dementia. Does he? Waste of time. I feel you. Gaming guy, nothing is going to happen even if update to Reddit Online. It'd be very lackluster. If they did it now, I think when they do, even if it is lackluster, it's going to cost a heap of gold. A heap of gold. The Rockstar only disappoints. Talk about witnessing a trash fest this was. So people now, you know, are going to say that Reddit Online is dead, but like they keep even more, you know, it's done now, finito, but they keep saying how successful it is, how it keeps, at least how it keeps exceeding sales expectations. So I'm not understanding like why it's not getting content if we look at it in a simple math equation. Take-Two CEO have acknowledged hashtag Save It Online. So I'm gonna look at that, and thank you for everybody that's subscribed and that is new. I wasn't anticipating that much support, so thank you. We do appreciate it on this side. We do. We don't take that lightly. Much gratitude.
A new follower.
And thank you as well to Flash Camel for that $20. I don't know what currency that is. I do apologize. But said check the IGN article. Take-Two CEO mentioned save Reddit Online. And I will look into that. But much gratitude for everybody that came out. We do appreciate it, man. You guys I understand leaving disappointed. But I wasn't expecting too much. I wasn't anticipating too much. You know, I just wanted to see where Red Dead was at and if they were going to say anything. And we got what we got. We love you, Hebrew. You're breathtaking. I appreciate that, Tiffany. Much gratitude. Love you as well. I promise I'll do lots, but generally we'll do the bare minimum and pass it off as doing a lot. Basically their mission statement. So yeah, I don't know. We're getting a GTA 6 announcement. Not, you know, again, people, oh, it's gonna come this year. Okay, if you believe so. You know what I mean? I don't know what to tell you. But again, much gratitude for everybody that came out today. We do appreciate it. Thank you for all the support. I will see you when I see you. Thank you for, you know, joining another Hebrews cast in the hobbies room today. Thank you for the likes, the interaction, the subscriptions, and we do appreciate you. And I pray all is well with you. Much gratitude, guys. Thank you. What is their problem of talking about the next gen GTA series entry? You got the answer, Phil? No? Oh, okay.